Welcome to the 18-card role-playing challenge.
We are walking to record our video for the winner, or the top three in the winner of the role-playing challenge, because we can't record inside of our office because of COVID. So I will give you one of them, Marty will give another, George will give another. Alphabetically, first is the family dinner.
Next is, I guess this is it.
And then there's Time Travel Entertainment Inc.
So, the first one will be family dinner then. Family dinner is, the title is pretty self-descriptive, honestly. It is about a family dinner. A group of players play individual members of a family, and as you kind of go through the experience, you begin to build a complicated, weaving, family tree and family situation, and basically, the whole thing is about playing a dysfunctional family.
This all happens over the course of a 6-course meal. That happens as you play cards. 2 cards equals 1 meal. So you might have, trying to think of food types that were actually in the game. You might have chocolate and citrus, which was one in ours, right?
Yeah.
Did
Chocolate and citrus was our first.
That was our appetizer.
Yeah.
And these combinations can get really interesting, especially towards the end of the game when you start to run out of things.
We had a really good time with this one.
We had so much fun.
Yeah.
There's another really interesting mechanic in it, in that everybody has a secret. You write down a secret at the beginning of the game for your character and pass it to your right, or pass it somewhere. That secret can be something that just kind of lays low and, impacts some of your decisions as a player, things like that. But in our game, 2 of the 3 secrets came out over the course of the game. There was a great tension leading up to that.
Mm-hmm.
I believe my secret, which was kind of the whole entire conflict at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was that my character wasn't really a member of the family.
It was kind of like a con artist.
Yeah, it was
people.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, it was great. Deserved its place in this top 3. It stood out above some of the competition for that great. The player sheet was used, or the sheet was used in a really great way, in that you make this family tree. Good prompts, really good setup, really good.
It also had a setting.
The setting,
a very clear setting.
Clear setup. Clear setup was nice. It was like we all knew exactly what we wanted as soon as it was there, and it was easy to establish everything that we needed to know right away.
Yeah.
Which is always a nice plus. So next up is, I guess this is it. This one was good. It was a 2-player game.
It kind of leaves you speechless when you're playing it.
So
that's part of the game.
Kind of explain the setup. It's a 2-player game. It's about 2 people who are interacting who are never going to see each other again for one reason or another. So the idea is I guess this is it, is the final line of a conversation. Like, we're going to leave. And we won't see each other again for either a long, very long time or forever. It makes a lot of sense to play with death in the back of your head as part of the reason. But also, there's a lot of other great.
It doesn't have to be the only way. Someone could be going off to war. There could be a whole bunch of.
It could be 2 lovers partying at a train station.
Ooh, I actually really want to do going off to war. I think it's really fun.
Our playthrough was pretty cool though, because we played just me and Marty.
Yeah.
And we decided that I was cursed by Poseidon, and I was going to be sucked into the sea. We're standing on the edge of a cliff. And we were lifelong adventurers, so it was our goodbye. We chose a fantasy setting, and that's kind of a strength of the game, is that I guess we could have theoretically did that with family dinner, but it wouldn't have been as easy. But that would be really fun.
It's a really I'll do it
in a tavern.
But we're at the Hobbit stable.
That would be great.
We're
all the dwarves at the Hobbit. We were playing a fantasy, but the game really works well in a handful of varieties. They even the suggestions make that a possibility.
It's wide open. I watched you guys play, which just fascinating.
Yeah.
It's there's not a lot of games that are fun to watch, and I don't know if there's a lot of role-playing games that are fun to watch because you kind of want to be in on the action. But being observant in this was very powerful, and it was really interesting just to sit back and watch you guys go.
It goes by really quick
It
too.
is.
Yeah,
Even
I
though
feel
it goes by quick, it sticks with you.
Yeah,
I remember it very, very well. Like
Yeah.
in the back of my head.
That's
It's
the kind of
surprising how much.
game where you're gonna leave with it and think about it.
It also has a great like card play element. Basically, as you go around, you build this grid map of like emotions,
Interactions.
of emotions and interactions that form the basis of it. You can create like lingering moments that are like actually satisfied and moments that aren't.
Yeah.
We had a good time with it. I remember it very well. And then the best part is sort of that at the end you look at you have your whatever's left over in your hand.
This was fun.
You're not supposed to. You're supposed to put down on the table, and these are supposed to be the sort of lingering effects or the sort of lingering things that weren't talked about.
Yeah.
And it's very like you can interpret it in any way. It's really, really interesting. Like we ended up.
Well, I played a card before that, which forced my last move was to force a card from my hand into Marty's hand, which ended up being in your final.
It was in my
thoughts.
final two hands. It was the last thing George did to me was put a card labeled fear into my hand.
Yeah,
It is maybe one of the most endlessly cruel things.
Yeah.
I held onto that card. From the
It's
start.
so good though.
So the reason this kind of went above the others and made it into these top 3 and the top 10 and all is it's incredibly unique.
It is.
Yeah.
It's such a unique and moving and impactful setting, which so far both of these games have had really strong settings. And I think that's important because not all players can bring a setting. You know,
No.
Especially these are DMs. That was one of the rules. So by this providing that setting, really, before you started the game, you knew where you were going. You didn't know where you were going to end, but you knew where this was going to potentially go, and that was big.
Which is fun because like you don't know where it's going to go. You don't know where it's going to end. I mean, you know where it's going to go, but you don't know where it's
Yeah,
going
you
to
know
end.
the exact ending technically.
But it's a game about endings.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know how this will impact the characters or what direction this will end up going or what
But
bit of setting that you'll
but you
have.
pick up this game, you know what you're getting into.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
with each prompt, we were just quick to it. We didn't even have to. There was no hesitation. We knew exactly where these people had been, where our characters, their struggles, and what they've been through, and the bond that they had. Just so instantaneously.
Our third game is Time Travel Entertainment Inc. I'm sorry, Time Travel Entertainment Inc. I keep forgetting that last line.
Don't forget they incorporated.
Yeah, they've been incorporated. Time Travel Entertainment Inc. is about a group of robots, however many players, 2 to 5, I think, or something, 2 to 6. So each player is handed 3 cards, each of which have a sort of role, a general idea of what you are.
Just a generic like farmer robot.
There's a
or-
farmer, a politician,
There was an engineer.
engineer.
There was an ATM machine.
Yeah, one of them is like a
Just a money.
salesman.
Yeah.
I think you were a salesman. I was a politician.
I was the engineer.
You were an engineer.
Yeah.
And you have these 3 cards in front of you, and as you go along, each player has to solve a problem. Usually, you're going back in time to try to get something based on a couple of prompts placed at the beginning. Basically, where you're going, why you're there, things like that. We use the example in the rulebook.
Which was we're traveling to ancient Egypt, 2000 BC,
We're going to ancient Egypt to get a mummy.
to get a mummy, and we're stuck inside
We
of
were
a
locked in a chamber.
In a
We're locked in a
chamber.
a grain chamber. Thing.
Yeah.
And as you kind of do actions, the cards in front of you, every round you do an action, you roll some dice to see if you succeed, and if you no matter what happens, one card is turned slightly. You only have these 3 actions in front of you they can do.
Yeah, each
So
card has 4 actions on each edge, and when you use one, you turn it. So then you can't use it again for at least 3 more turns, until it turns all the way around.
This also had, I believe it was your left most player. After you decide your action, they decide if that action is logical, not if they like it, if it makes sense,
If it fits the storyline, if they agree with where it's going,
and if your action matches what kind of
card you chose.
that you chose.
It's a good system for like accountability in role playing games without having a DM being like an all powerful arbitrator,
Yeah.
like a DM or a GM or whatever, to
Yep.
kind of go in and say, like, no,
Yeah.
this can't be done.
Every player gets kind of their say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then, so if they deem it worthy and you can continue with it, which in most cases we did, then you have to roll for success. And your left card is your best chance of rolling for success. Your middle card is second worst, and then your third card is the hardest. I think it was you had to roll 4 higher, 3 higher, 2 higher, or maybe reverse 2 higher, 3 higher, 4
Yeah,
higher.
I think it was something you have to roll lower than 4, 3, and
3
2.
and 2.
Yeah.
And
Um,
it's interesting because I believe, did we set them up randomly, the left
we
to right?
we determined everything randomly, but I think I kind of deliberately looked around, and I think you guys were random.
So, because it's interesting, because if it is random, which I'm not 100% sure, you could play the same character, but they have different strengths and weaknesses every time you play.
Yeah.
In an interesting
I
way,
never really thought of that.
because those rolls, I mean, we were getting killed on the rolls.
Yeah, we were doing real bad, but
Because you lose a card if you fail.
if you
Yeah.
fail, or you have a chance to lose a card,
You do. Oh, you have to roll a second time.
Yeah,
But
you roll.
since we were failing, I think in turn it was just as fun.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
it shapes
Yeah.
the story in a great way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we had it took us like 3 rounds or 2 rounds or something to get out of that brain house. So
Yeah.
But yeah, this was so this one made it to the top because it not like the other two where it had this strong you knew you were getting into just from kind of looking at the game. It was that open-ended story, but done in such a good way
Yeah.
because the characters were everything. It wasn't, and the fact that they were robots even shaped it just a little bit because it's not just like you're anybody. You're this, archetypal robot with these actions, these 12 actions that you can take. Those actions were so strong.
Yeah.
Like we shared a couple. I think we all shared punch. I think we might have all shared examine.
yeah,
But then
there was everything on the bottom row of your cards
was the same.
it was the
and
same.
then the other 1, 2, 3, 9 were all unique to your character.
Yeah.
So like I had, I was trying to sell stuff and things like that, which doesn't fit every story. Like the ATM machine doesn't fit every story, but
That's
it's
the
a
fun of it.
character. It's
Yeah.
cool. Like
It's a hilarious situation if you're trying to throw money at the door for it to open.
yeah, and it in the same way as others, you don't have to be super creative in the setup because you're handed this character. I feel like that's one of the things that we saw a bit of that didn't make it to the end were the ones where you kind of had to do everything as a player before the game even started.
Yeah.
And that's not super easy for everybody.
No.
All right, so we know our top 3.
Our top
We
3.
know why they're our top 3.
Mhm.
If, as a designer, if you're a game that didn't make the top 3, you kind of see what really moved us and how these ones kind of made it through the cut. So, which one is the winner?
And drum roll, please, I guess. And the winner of the 18 card RPG contest is, I guess this is it.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, no, we really, really like this one.
It's strong. Like
It's-
it's just a strong, powerful game.
You can really feel it, like how it just works so well, and it just
It also had great card play. Card
Yep.
play was key to us as a company that makes cards.
and it's this wonderfully strong emotional experience that I think anybody can kind of enjoy, and you could. And it can be taken very seriously, and it can be taken very goofily if you really wanted. But I think
we had a
ultimately-
blend of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ours was a little bit of both, and it was like even those goofiness. George's character got sucked up into the sea by Poseidon, and yet I remember it, and
Yeah.
I
and as
in my
laughable as that is, it wasn't laughable at the time.
yeah no
Yeah.
in those moments it was like this is a serious thing that's
Yeah.
happening. Like this is like
Some
my
of-
character's never going to see my best
I mean-
friend again.
RPG gamers like to have very impactful stories that you can think about for years, and sometimes that takes whole campaigns to achieve. Like you can reach that in just one session with this.
I've done year-long campaigns of D&D that I can't remember a single thing about.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there's something very special about this one, and I think
So congrats to Cesar, Kappa Clay,
the Dark Kappa Plague.
Congrats to everybody else.
Yeah.
This was a wonderful, wonderful competition. So thank you all, and congrats to everyone.